fan of Onyx Coffee, then you already know they have some of the best coffees and roasts out there that specialty coffee has to offer. There's a reason that so many of their coffees have won all sorts of awards. They source very high quality beans, they roast very well, and they do it incredibly consistently. And that sort of craft can sometimes feel difficult to find. So they've built themselves quite the following over the years. And they do offer a subscription model. So if you have a particular favorite coffee of theirs, you can receive it on a weekly or monthly basis, so you never have to worry about running out of your favorite. Or you can sign up to receive a rotating roaster's choice, where they pick their favorites at the moment and ship them off to you. The only limitation though becomes, what if you want to try different coffees from other roasters? What if you're ready to sort of expand your horizons and expand your pool of roasters that you have to choose from, without sacrificing the quality that we know Onyx already has? So I did some research and I put together a list of some other coffee subscriptions that are out there. If you're looking for more roaster variety, then here are some of the next best alternatives to Onyx Coffee. So as far as these subscriptions go, the main two criteria that I was looking for is, number one, these are multi-roaster coffee subscriptions. So rather than receiving good coffee from one good roaster, these are subscriptions that partner with dozens and dozens of roasters across the US with the goal of bringing you more variety. The second criteria was that all the coffee is roasted fresh. That way the coffee isn't just hanging out in a warehouse for weeks to months at a time, waiting to get sent to someone. Essentially, all of these coffees are being roasted fresh to order, so that you can maximize the shelf life and the flavor by the time it actually makes it onto your doorstep. So if you're ready to just jump straight to the point, I'll get there for you. My overall pick would be Trade Coffee. The reason I like Trade the best is because they operate a little differently, in the sense that rather than just lumping you into a category and sending you coffees already selected within that category, they select coffees matched specifically to your taste. So one of the first things that you do is you take a short quiz, and it covers the basics. So things like your preferred roast level, your preferred taste profile, do you need it whole bean or ground? But they even go so far as to ask exactly what brew types you use at home. And you can mix and match. Let's say sometimes you do cold brew, sometimes you do espresso, and sometimes you do Chemex. You can select all of those options. If you need ground coffee, they will also grind it specific to your brew type. That's a game changer. Compared to some of the other coffee subscriptions that I've seen, it's usually just a default grind setting, and that may or may not be perfect for your particular home setup. But Trade also even asks how much or how little variety do you want. They also ask, how do you drink your coffee at home? Do you drink it mostly black? Do you add cream? Do you add sugar? All of those differences and those nuances do matter, and they take all of that into account when they're selecting the coffees for you. So once they've built your taste profile, again, rather than lumping you into this massive category and they just send you a rotation of coffees they've already selected, there is a human coffee expert picking every coffee specifically for you. And they partner with over 55 roasters at the moment, again, across the US, and they've been vetted for things like quality, transparency, sustainability, craft. So these are roasters who are doing their craft and doing it well. If there had to be any sort of trade-off with Trade, pun intended, I would say if you're looking for something a little bit more passive, so a subscription where it's a little bit more set it and forget it. I pick a category and the coffees are just sent off to me. This may not be the best option for you, because this subscription operates the most effectively when you actively engage with it. You have the option to rate each bag of coffee that you receive, and that's what helps the subscription to get even smarter over time, because every coffee that they select for you is building upon your taste profile from your quiz and previous information from the bags that you have rated. So you do have to have a pretty good idea from the beginning of what you do and don't like already. That said, Trade does also offer collections where it's organized by roast profile, or espresso, or cold brew, or single origins, those sorts of things. So you can start with a collection if you're just trying to get a sense of what you do and you don't like, and then from there you might be ready to take the quiz, build your taste profile. But overall, if you're just looking for something that has roaster variety in high quality coffees, and you want the peace of mind that you'll actually enjoy all of the coffees that land on your doorstep, Trade is pretty much the no-brainer option here. If I had to pick a beginner-friendly coffee subscription, I would say Beanbox is a really solid starter subscription. The categories that you can choose are fairly broad and limited, so that means you can either pick a roast profile or single origins, or a brew type like espresso or cold brew, or you can do a curator selection where all the coffees are selected by the coffee curator. So if you're really just looking for variety and you're trying to expand your palate and get a sense of what you do and you do not like, the good news is because the categories are so broad, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a variety. Doesn't matter which one that you choose. This option also happens to be the most budget-friendly per bag, unless you factor in the shipping cost. This is also one of the only subscriptions I've found that doesn't offer free shipping unless you do the annual plan, which means that you're paying for a lot of coffee up front, even though it's only being sent to you on a monthly, weekly basis, depending on your delivery schedule. So yes, wide variety, great way to expand your palate. However, there's not much personalization or control to the coffees that are actually being picked and sent to you. MistoBox is also another good option as far as a starter subscription might go, but it's a little bit more customizable than Beanbox because you can select your preferred roast profile. You can also select your preferred type. So do you want coffees that taste good as espressos or single origin or blends, even decaf? You can also select the max that you're willing to pay per bag of coffee, which is a nice touch for those who maybe are budget-minded, but the smaller your price range is, the smaller of a pool they'll have to select from. But the other thing I like about MistoBox is it's also very easy to monitor and update your subscription over time. They have what's called a coffee profile in your settings, where let's say at first you were just wanting to try as many single origins as you could. So the beans are exclusive to one country or one region. But now you really want to try more coffees that taste good as espresso. You can update your coffee profile and they'll essentially adjust your further selections. Even further than that, you can search their coffee offerings on their website, a la carte, if you will. And if you come across one where you're like, that's what I want to try next, you can put that into your brew queue. So it's guaranteed that's the next coffee that'll be sent to you. One other thing I really like about MistoBox is your delivery frequency can be set with incredible specificity down to the day, anywhere between 5 to 35 days. That might sound like overkill, but if you're like me and you know exactly how much coffee you go through within a given time period, this is a really great way to minimize the waste that you go through, or maybe ending up with a bunch of stale coffee that's left over. Now, same limitations though as Beanbox. Yes, there's a little bit more customization, but you're still limited to these fairly broad, oversimplistic categories. So variety, yes, but will it be coffees that you actually enjoy? Hard to say. Now, if you are just looking for the best of the best coffees and roasters, Podium Coffee Club is one of the more unique subscriptions that I have come across, because they only work with roasters who have literally stood on the podium at some sort of major US coffee competition. So the US Coffee Roasting Championship, Golden Bean, Good Food Awards, those sorts of things. They only source coffees from those best of the best roasters. While it's not the coffees that won those championships necessarily, they are coffees that have been roasted by the same roasters. So you already know you're getting the best of the best from people who are at the very top of their game. Now, that being said, because this is such a unique premium model, if you will, there are a couple of limitations. The only customization, if you will, is the tier of subscription that you select. Really, the only difference is exactly how far up the highest tier pyramid are you willing to go. They have a gold or a platinum, and platinum also represents like the top 1% of all coffees in the world. You also can't really control your delivery schedule. They only roast between the 5th and the 10th of each month, and then it's shipped very shortly after to preserve the freshness. But that means you can't really control exactly when you're receiving it. It's always gonna be the same time in each month. Lastly, they only ship whole bean. So if you don't have a grinder at home, unfortunately you're out of luck, you're kind of left out of the fun. Part of that is to preserve the freshness, but it does mean you don't get to try out the best of the best. Now, on a different note, if one of your main goals is to really develop your coffee tasting skills, Angel's Cup might be a good subscription for you. Their goal is not just to send you good coffees, but in particular, they provide the opportunity for what they call comparative coffee tastings, where with each delivery, you receive samples of 4 different coffees from different origins, different roasters, and they come in blind bags, which gives you the chance to actually taste it, see what you think the tasting notes are, what body do you get, where do you think it's from, and then you can compare to the tasting notes or the cards from the roaster. So it helps you to form your own opinion and again, get better at your coffee tasting skills before your opinion has been colored by what it should or shouldn't taste like. Now that said, the variety that you receive in a way is kind of determined by the roast profile that you enjoy, because if you select light or medium roasts, then you get a different rotation every week. If you select dark roasts, it's only rotated once a month. So again, in a way, your variety is essentially limited by the roast profile that you enjoy. That said, because the coffees are coming in sample sizes, you get to try 4 different coffees in a week, essentially. But if you're the type to drink a cup of coffee every morning, you may find yourself running out by the end of the week. Each sample only comes with about 1 ounce of coffee. In that same vein, while I love the idea, I find it difficult to justify the price because you're essentially paying a similar price as other coffee subscription for a much smaller amount of coffee. Because in total, you're only receiving about 4 ounces with each delivery, and yet you're paying about the same amount that you would for a full 10 or 12 ounce bag. But again, great way to build your coffee tasting skills. So just a quick recap, again, if you love Onyx, but now you're looking for more roaster variety with the same quality, Trade is my overall pick because you have the most variety and quality with personalization. So they pick the coffees matched specific to your taste, so you know you'll enjoy each one. Beanbox and Misto Box are good starter subscriptions if you're trying to get a sense of what you do and you don't like. If you are looking for the best of the best coffees and roasters at the top of their game, Podium Coffee Club. And then Angel's Cup if you're looking to develop your coffee tasting skills with those comparative coffee tastings. But overall, I hope this was helpful to you, and we'll see you next time.